Omari Forson has been included in each of Manchester United's past 5 matchday squads, and recently he has been heavily involved in 2 big goals for Manchester United, and there's even talks that Erik ten Hag sees him as a bigger talent than both Amad Diallo and even Facundo Pellistri. So the question is, why does Erik ten Hag rate the 19-year-old so highly? Well, perhaps the first reason that ten Hag rates Forson so highly is because of his form in the academy this season, with 7 goals and 2 assists in the first half of the season. A really impressive return at such an early age. I think another reason though why Erik ten Hag really likes Forson is because of his position. What is his best position? Well, that's up for debate, and that's why Erik ten Hag likes him. He is extremely versatile. We can see already that in his career he's played on the left wing, he's played in a 10, he's played in the right wing, and for the Manchester United first team, he's even played as a striker. Versatility is something which is so useful to managers, particularly someone like Erik ten Hag, who has struggled with a lot of injuries this season, a lot of key players missing. Having this young squad player who is happy to hold some time on the bench but then come into the squad on the right hand side, in the 10 position, on the left wing, up front, that is valuable. He plays the squad role of almost 3 or 4 different players. So I think that is one of the reasons why ten Hag likes Forson so much, because he can rely on him to do a job on the pitch. The question is, what is that job on the pitch? Well, Forson is a winger, so one of the big expectancies for him is to be able to carry the ball and to be able to dribble, something which I think Forson is actually pretty good at. In terms of throughout the academy, he has always been quite more physically developed than those around him, meaning he's got extra bit of pace but also extra strength, allowing him to hold off the opposition. And this is something which should transmit quite well into first team football. Having that upper body strength, but also that lower body strength, and that ability to protect the ball from his opponent. And he is actually quite a good retention player. The sort of player where if you've got, say, an inverted fullback on that side, you can play the ball into Forson, he's happy to come into these positions, use his body to hold off the opposition, and keep the ball for his side. Forson is very good at doing that. But importantly, he's also good at being more front-footed, more aggressive, and taking on the opponent. Now, I wouldn't label him as the most technical dribbler you're ever going to see. Amad Diallo perhaps is better in that aspect. But I think Forson's ability to just drive at the opposition, power, pace, things like that, they really do separate footballers from, the good footballers from the average footballers, to players which are able, particularly out wide, to take someone on and create separation. That's the most important thing at the end of the day. It's one thing, being skilled and things like that, but if you simply cannot get away from your opponent, you're always going to struggle. Forson doesn't have that difficulty. He has a brilliant ability to work himself half a yard to get away from his opponent, and that can be going outside the pitch or also inside the pitch, particularly when he plays on the right hand side, coming inside the pitch onto his stronger left foot. Very good ball carrier and a decent dribbler. I think another good thing with Forson is that whilst he may be a good dribbler and a good ball carrier, he doesn't just rely on that. We see some young players become quite selfish when they're good with the ball at their feet. Not the case with Forson. Once he's moved inside, once he's beaten his man, if he sees his teammate making a good run, whether that be a blindside run or something like that, he is more than happy to play that pass. First of all, he's got the vision to actually see it, but then also the weight of pass and also the execution to find his teammates in these positions. And we do have some clips of this from the academy. A situation like this, he's moving in from the right hand side, and we can see his teammate is going to make this kind of blindside run behind the defender. Forson has the quality to find these passes, but also, the wanting to do it. He wants to find his teammates in his position. This is creative outlet in the final third. We can see it again here. Once again, his teammate is going to make this sort of blindside run off the back of the opposition. Forson cuts inside onto his left foot and then feeds a really good ball through for his teammate. Again, that is something which we know that ten Hag values. A player which, of course, initially can dribble with the ball, but then create for others in the final third. Something perhaps which United have struggled with this season. Again, that could be why ten Hag likes Forson so much.
So before we continue into the video, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, JerseyFifa.com, the home of all of the greatest football kits. Whether that be the new latest releases or the old classic ones like this, Jersey FIFA has something for everyone, and now you can check it out yourself using the link in the description down below. And also make sure to use code JerseyFIFA for 10% off when you order.
On top of this selflessness, he also just has good, efficiency, good effectiveness in the final third with his end product. He is a good player at finding that final pass. We saw those last two examples. This is something a little bit different. This is more traditional wing play, running down the wing and then looking to put the ball into the box. This occasion from the right hand side, on his right foot, he puts the ball across the box for his striker to attack. Very simple, very easy, but very efficient. Got another example here, this time on the other side of the pitch. Despite being on the other side of the pitch, it's actually still a similar sort of situation. He's going to opt for the low ball across the box, this time with a cutback. But again, this is really good vision. I think the obvious thing here to do, would be to fizz across the box into these sorts of areas. but instead he's aware of where his teammate is. It's good striker movement in the box, and then once again Forson has the ability to find him. Now something else which you may have noticed there in those last two clips, which is really important, is that the first clip he done it off his right foot, the second clip he done it off his left foot. Now they may both be fairly simple passes, but that is just a sign of what is to come with Forson. This is a two-footed player, someone who is a two-way winger, who can go both ways, So right hand side, he can go with his right foot down the line and cross the ball into the box, particularly along the floor, or he can cut inside onto his left foot, which would be his preference. On the left hand side, his preference once again is to use his left foot, go wide and put the ball into the box, but he is still capable of coming inside and then combining with players. This willingness to go both ways is super important, and it kind of plays into that versatility which he has as a footballer. Again, if you're Erik ten Hag, you've got an injury-hit squad, which he's had this season. The ability to bring someone in who can play a few different roles, depending on what side you ask him to play, is really useful. On top of all these things, Forson is just a very, very good ball striker, which is always going to make you a threat in the final third. Long shots like this one here, firing the ball into the back of the net. This one a little bit different, but once again coming inside onto his stronger left foot, going past the defender and then firing the shot from range from the edge of the box into the bottom corner. And it's a variation in his finishing, but the important thing is the consistency of his ball striking. If you are a good ball striker, if you can hit a ball well, you will always be a threat in the final third. We've seen it with Marcus Rashford, for example. Even when he hasn't been at his best, hasn't been in the best vein of form, we've still seen the ability, due to top level ball striking, to produce something from nothing. And Forson does have that sort of similar trait, the ability to cut inside onto his left foot and shoot at goal. That can be low at the near post, it can be high towards the far post. That, again, variation to his game, but the consistency of ball striking is something which makes him a very useful squad player. So far we've seen a lot of good traits with Forson, which makes him a very good young player and a very useful squad player. However, I wouldn't say that so far we have seen anything particularly special. There are other talents in the academy which can do similar things. So what is it which makes Forson stand out in Erik ten Hag's eyes? Well, first of all, I do think it is that versatility which was spoken about. But for me, it is also his awareness of space. I think this is very, very important for young players which are able to develop this at an early age. They have a big advantage over those around them. Because ultimately on the football pitch, if you can find a bit of space, if you can make runs into good areas, you are always going to be effective. You can always manipulate the opposition. And we've seen this even in his brief time in the first team already. Of course, the Kobbie Mainoo goal the other night, where Kobbie Mainoo is rightfully getting all the praise, but Forson does really good work. Again, on this occasion playing as a striker, showing his versatility. But the ball goes into him, and first of all, he has the intelligence to go with his front foot. So this is good play, this is just good general play. But the important thing for me is what comes a little bit later. It's going to be his movement in this particular move. So as Kobbie Mainoo comes towards the end of his dribble, he's beaten a couple of players, he's about to put the ball through the last player's legs, we can see that Forson is in a fairly deep position, not really affecting the opposition. He's in a good bit of space, he could receive the ball, but it's not going to happen on this occasion, and he recognises that. So what he does, rather than just standing there and being, a bit useless like some other United players do at times, instead what Forson chooses to do is affect the play. He knows that he may not get the touch on the ball here, but he can still affect the play, and this itself is essentially an assist. He makes a really good blindside run in behind the opposition defence. Now when you make this run, it drags the opposition. We can see first of all this defender is going for this pass. We can also see that though, this defender here is going for that pass as well. We can see the way he has shaped his body, he is getting ready to deal with that Forson run. So Forson, he actually legitimately gets the assist for his pass earlier in the move. But this bit of play here is what really does it for me. It brings all of the Wolves defenders away. And we can see that Kobbie Mainoo now gets himself in this space. But if we look at the two Wolves centre-backs, where they actually are, they are both extremely close to Forson. This is good manipulation. This is a good ability to be aware of the space, but then also use the space. We also saw it in the FA Cup game against Newport. Now, he doesn't actually get the goal or assist on this occasion, but again, it's that run off the ball, making the movement in behind the opposition defence. He eventually gets the shot off a goal, and it plays a big part in the goal. But it all comes from his movement off the ball, that awareness of where the space is, and making the run in behind the defence. And that is what impresses me with Forson. Do I think he has a particularly elite skill set? Not particularly. But I think he's a very, very useful squad player because he's intelligent, he can play a few different positions, he seems to have a good mentality, he's versatile, but importantly, he's aware of how to manipulate that space. And for me, I think all of these things just equate to a difference maker in the final third. And ultimately, that is what you want from your players in these attacking areas. That ability to take the ball, express themselves, show a bit of freedom. but also then to just make a difference with their end product. Whether that be a run off the ball to make room for someone else, whether that be one of those long shots which we saw earlier, or one of those crosses into the box. Whenever Forson plays, he doesn't necessarily stand out, but he always just makes a difference with something which he does on the ball. And that's why I think Erik ten Hag likes him. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think is the best traits of Forson? Let me know what you think. Do you think Ahmad should be ahead of him? If so, let me know why. All of that good stuff. Also, like the video while you are here as well, and also subscribe to the channel. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.